Okay. Good morning once again. I was really literally recording this and something happened to the video or the audio and then it stopped and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. So we're gonna start all over as if nothing happened. And so yes, okay, so I'm talking about Euphoria season 3, wrapping it up, and how, at least in my opinion, how kind of a lackluster, not only the finale was, but how the whole season was. And I'm comparing it to the other two seasons. Yes, they're like, I think from maybe I keep saying season. Okay, episode 5 and up, I believe, it started getting better. It started picking up, but it shouldn't take that long, especially if you've already developed characters and you I mean you know who these people are. I mean, yes, it's a new season, but still, like, it shouldn't take that long to dive into a new season. You know what I'm saying? And so it was basically trying to, say like where they were as far as like after high school, um, and what everybody's up to, um, and yeah, just kind of catching people up. Okay, cool, I get that, but it was just kind of really, I don't know what other word to use, but it was a lackluster. Um, but yeah, it started to pick up and it was getting a little better. But there were people that I felt so bad for, like Nate. Nate was just he was really just getting it. You know what I'm saying? As- like losing a toe, then losing a finger. Um, what else? Um, just kind of just getting beat up, and then getting stuffed into a box, like a super tight box. He is 6'5", and they showed a behind the scenes episode um, of that one where he was getting buried, and um, they did drill a hole and everything so he could breathe out of. But the the people who were like wrangling the snake and everything, like it um the snake that crawled in there was not a rattlesnake. They just put like a rattler on there, so it just kind of like it seems like it is, a rattlesnake, but it was a boa. And but I think before that they did have a rattlesnake, and then they were kind of like wrangling it, make sure nothing was going to happen to anybody. But all this stuff is kind of cool, watching like a behind the scenes situation. So it's like, oh, okay. But I'm just like, dude, like he just, I, I really felt bad for him, and yeah, I mean, he did some questionable things, and he did put himself in that situation, but I don't think you deserve all that, like come on. And then the second person who was, you know, obviously getting it, the 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 shitty end of the deal was Rue, played by Zendaya. Um, but okay, so here's my question, and I know I need to like dive more into this to talk more about each episode. How it led up to the finale. But if they're gonna do another season, I'm not saying they can't do one without Zendaya, but okay, honestly speaking, and I know no one ever comments on my videos, but honestly speaking, can you see yourself watching Euphoria after uh, Rue died of an overdose, and then not saying he was a huge character, but he gave us a little something. He's like a little eye candy. Nate. Okay, so you got two people who died, and then before that, people did die in real life. So, who? My name is his name is drawing a blank for me, but to wrap him up, they were saying that he's in prison, which he did go to prison for the shit that went down in the last season, which is Fez, played by Angus Cloud, and he died in what year was that? Was it 2022? Oh no, 2023. And that was so sad, like dying at the age of 25. Like wow, that's fucked up. And I don't know the cause of that, and that's not what we're talking about. But you know, from that, and then Barbie Ferreira, she stopped. She dropped out of the show. I don't know for what, or what, no one said the reason, but um, yeah. And then Nate's father on the show, which he he did some episodes, but he also died in real life, which was Eric Dane. He died. And sometimes I hate to say this, but there are shows or movies like that are kind of um they what's the word? Cursed. They're kind of cursed, you know. And I think for Zendaya, I felt like I heard, maybe not from her exactly, but I think she said she did not want to do the show anymore. And I know one particular reason, excuse me, um, which she did not film any scenes with her. Um, she does not like Sydney Sweeney. Um, and I guess sometimes when you don't like somebody and you have the option to not have to film with them, that's cool. That's great. You can kind of work around that. But um, but if you are kind of forced to film with somebody and you have to play pretend, like let's just say you're at a real, like, I'm not, to me that's not a real job. I'm talking about real working class people working on an everyday job. You're clocking in 9 to 5, whatever, and you are forced to have to work with that person. Um, Sometimes you gotta put your personal shit behind you and remember, hey, I am paid to work, and you have to remember that. And now, if you just, I don't know, if you just, for whatever reason, you just really can't work with that person, I guess you gotta tell your boss and, I don't know, figure something out. If there's a way of transferring, but I get it. I totally get it. There's been quite a few jobs where I feel like I couldn't work with somebody, but I'm not gonna be petty and say, look, I can't work with this bitch. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know, like I was saying, some episodes they were picking up, um, but all in all, yeah, this season was just very lackluster. And again, and talking about if they are going to do another season, not only do you have people aren't obviously coming back, but where is it going to go? For real, where is it going to go? Okay, you got, if this person comes back, you got Hunter Schafer, you got Maud, you got Alexa, you got Sydney Sweeney. Um, I don't know anybody else. I can't imagine some of these people coming back to the strip club. Like that wouldn't make any sense. Um, I just I don't know. And another thing that really kind of pissed me off about this episode, I thought they were gonna have like a funeral, not only for Nate, but also for Rue. Nope, nope. Like I feel like that's kind of disrespectful. But who am I to say anything? I'm not the writer. I'm not the director. I have no control over this show. Um, but I don't know. It just feels like you didn't give a shit about these people. Their characters. Um, even if it obviously you're not gonna put like real people in there, but like like a box, and you're just hey, I like to whatever, send some condolences or whatever. Um, but um, yeah. So Nate had been through some shit. Rue been through some shit. She's really trying to turn her life around, and I really felt like she was on that verge of getting herself together. She had that money that Alamo gave her, and yeah, she took that pill, and I'm sure she took another one. Um, and apparently she OD'd, I guess, because I mean, she died, Um, so the the people, I guess what you want to call them, kind of like Nazi type people, because they had like the symbol on them. I forget what they who they were. Let's see, let me look them up. Let's see. Um, okay, so Lori and her crew, which were white people. I don't know how else to say that, but they also did Rue wrong. Um, her coming there and trying to get what was stolen from Alamo, which I guess they put the money elsewhere in another safe. I guess. Um, and then the majority of those people, aside from, let's see, does it show her? Faye and I forgot the dude's name that she was with. Um, they got away, but Lori and other people, like, well, Lori died. She killed herself, and then other people got taken away. Um, but then Coleman Domingo's character, which he is also a phenomenal actor. He played Rue's. Like he was like a sponsor for her. Um, and at first not going so well, but then like I said, she started like to trying to turn her life around. And when she did not wake up at his place, um, he went to an AA meeting and started saying, this is the last time that I'm coming back here, blah blah blah. He just said like, I think it's time for me to uh, do thing to do things my own way. And so he took a shotgun, brought it into the club, and shot a dude in the dick. Uh, Shot another guy, and then killed Alamo. And that was kind of the gist of that. And then kind of ended the episode, the final episode, at this um, kind of a ranch where Rue first went to, and the opening episode, first episode that is, um, and she said that it was like a place of serenity, basically. And it kind of was, like if anybody's ever been on a ranch where it's just like nothing but land and you got animals and you're basically just living off of, you know, like it's almost like you're Amish in a way, like you're making your own clothing, kinda, like um, making your own food, everything. I don't want to call them Amish because they're not Amish, but like they're doing their thing, Um, and yeah, um, that's how it ended, and I don't know what else to say, you know. Um, Kathy, she stopped doing OnlyFans because she thought she was going to become a regular in a show. Then that didn't happen because no one wanted to see like a real porn star in a show. So that kind of fucked her over. And so she was trying to get her OnlyFans back. That didn't happen. So then uh, Maddie was trying to help her, you know, get her fame back by doing other things. And then, like I said, that's somewhere in between. That's kind of like how and when Nate died, and they were trying to get money to help him get out, and they were too late because the snake bit him and poisoned him. Um, and yeah, just it was a really kind of a fucked up season, to be honest with you. Um, hmm. I think that's just kind of it. I don't know if anybody has anything else. Let's see if there's any more reviews. Let's see. No, kind of the same shit. But yeah. Honestly, I really don't know where they will go with this show. Again, if they tend to make another season. Honestly, I think they should have just had that a series finale and called it quits. Because I really, honestly, I don't know where they would go with that, and that's just me being honest. But that's it for me. Um, if you watched this already, let me know. You know, comment down below if you plan on watching it. Also, let me know, and also, please subscribe As I mentioned before, I am really trying to let my channel grow, and if anybody is willing to help me out, I would be so grateful. Um, because once I can get all this going and really start filming and editing properly, because I'm not editing, I could try to be a little more, professional. Because I see so many people doing their thing, and I'm just like, I don't have a lot of, the stuff that you need, and I just feel lost in a way. But also, before I go, what what um what this show does add, and I forgot to mention that, is the which is another reason why this show has become popular, and I'm hoping this is the reason, and I'm not just putting this in my head, but it's showing the truth of fentanyl and how addicting the drug is, because it's just like, yeah, you get banged up at work or whatever, and I don't know, you hurt your back and you just can't deal with the pain, and aspirin isn't working. They're going to give you something a little more stronger, and most of the time it's gonna be something addicting, and then you're like, oh, I need some more, and then you get hooked on it, then you start to take more, and then you start to OD, and then shit happens. Um, and they do say people under the age of 50 are who like the death toll or death wise is fentanyl, and that's just wild and crazy to me. Um, I, for one, have never done anything drug related other than weed, and I plan to stick to that. Do not wish to do anything stronger than that. Um, and I hope and wish those who do or have done anything like that, and I know it's not like you're just going seeking it out unless you are, that you do somehow seek some help. Um, but yeah, that's just kind of all I got. I don't know because I like I said, I don't do drugs, so I don't know um street names of drugs. I've seen and heard some things, but if you are a parent and maybe you also don't know, sometimes googling might could help. I don't know. But I know when I am on certain apps, and then and this is coming from a gay person, uh, they tend to put in certain emojis or acronyms for certain um, drugs. And even, like I said, even for me, someone who does not do drugs, I'm in there like, what does that mean? And it'll come up, and it's like the Urban Dictionary will say, oh, this is what that means. And I'm just saying, if you need to know something, I feel like Google is your best friend. It helps me out in the long run. And I look, I'm babbling right now, but I'm also, again, being honest. For someone who is a gay person and um sick of being stuck in a bubble, you know what I'm saying? Where people assume that just because you're gay, oh, you must do drugs. No, I don't. I don't. And I don't want people thinking that or assuming that. It's crazy because um that is kind of like, like an umbrella and a stigma, if you will. Like, oh, you go out to the bars and clubs, oh, so you must party, right? No, that's not what that means. That is not at all what that means. Like, yeah, I may have had some drinks. I may have blacked out a couple of times. I may have smoked some weed, stuff like that. But that does not mean I'm here to party and all that shit. So, no, do not assume anything about me because you don't know me. Um, so no, sorry to disappoint, and also don't feel like you need to just to please somebody. I'm too old for that shit, so I'm just like, nope, no, thank you. Anyway, again, sorry for babbling, but yeah, that's it. Please subscribe and let me know what you think of the show if you've watched it already. All right. Thanks and see you next time. Bye. Mwah.